You know what? The trolls are going to troll, aren't they?
Yes.
Haters are going to hate.
Haters are
Actually,
gonna hate.
haters mean you're doing things right.
Yeah, I mean, not necessarily. Like, Hitler had haters. Right, so, and that's my point. You can't necessarily say, oh, haters mean you're doing something right. I mean, I bet Fidel Castro was sitting around one day smoking a cigar and being like, haters mean you're doing something right?
Okay, this is the essence of a hater. Are you ready?
Yeah.
This is their essence. If you had to put it into a look.
Yeah, if you, like,
are you ready?
Pressed it down like coal into a diamond. Right.
Like, this is like when you find, you're like, oh my god, we've got a hater here. This is what it looks like.
Right.
It's like...
So why would you want to look like that back? Why would you want to...
No, you're right.
Be part of that.
You're right.
And I think the good Reverend Swift told us that the best thing to do to haters is shake them off.
The satirist?
Shake them off. No, the good Reverend Swift.
The good Reverend Swift. Like the move that never misses in Pokemon?
No. Like Taylor.
Oh, you have to shake Taylor Swift.
Yeah, she said, shake it off, shake
it off.
Right. Because haters are going to hate.
Hate.
Right. And baiters are going to bait.
Bait.
I don't think that was the lyrics.
And mashed potatoes are going to tate.
Right.
Tate.
Mary Kate is going to Kate, and Ashley.
And balloons are going to inflate.
Exactly.
So, point taken.
In response!
Hello, and welcome to this beautiful and magnificent day.
Thank you for spending your time with us.
I'm Jake.
I'm Joel. Welcome back to another episode of Jake and Joel Are Weekly.
God,
every
two in a row.
Every single time.
We are Jake and Joel Are Magic, but today we are weekly.
Last week was GP Memphis. It was standard. Jake is going to take a nap during this quick recap.
I didn't know that you had started back up. What are we?
Top 8 for GP Memphis, which was standard, which is why Jake is taking a nap on us.
I'm awake. I'm present.
3 Grixis Energy, 2
Sweet.
Blue-Black Control,
Sweet.
A Mardu Vehicles, a Red-Green Monsters, and a Sultai Constrictor.
Nice. People like standard.
Yeah, it's kind of widening.
No, you know what? You said 5 different decks there, and for a top 8 in a standard format, I'm not going to lie, that's good diversity.
There you go. It's pretty good. It's not like Modern, which some people are saying is too diverse right now.
Modern is hard to plan for.
Yeah, it's a natural, healthy format. And so it's nice to see good results from GP Memphis.
Yeah, that's cool. If you are looking to do a stretch, a lot of us are... Whoa!
Sorry. Jake just got spooked. My dog did a freedom sprint out of my bedroom because my wife must have let him out. And
enjoy watching that later during editing.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
No, I'll probably put this in there.
What were we talking about?
It doesn't matter. Oh man,
I thought I was dead. I thought it was like the bear from any game where you get attacked by a bear.
So as Jake recollects his sanity, last week I did a Twitter poll.
Sweet.
The first poll ever for our Twitter channel.
I love polls.
I had never done one.
Yeah.
It said, we're asking the important questions.
I love important questions.
These were the 4 options. Jake is sexier. Joel is sexier. They're both too sexy. And this is about your vanity. We had 45 votes.
45 people
in our Twitter
dropped
poll.
In on this?
Yeah, 45 people dropped their opinion in the bucket.
Come on.
4% said Jake is sexier. 4% said Jake is sexier. 2% said Joel is sexier. What the hell, everybody?
What the fuck? Joel's got great hair.
33% said they're both too sexy.
In the overwhelming
And 60%
majority.
said this is about your vanity. So, what I learned from this is not very much at all.
I am 2% sexier than you. That's what I learned.
I think you are 2% sexier than me.
And that's 100% about my vanity.
As we move into our main phase 1, guys, last week there was an announcement from Wizards. And not only did everybody not go, ugh, I hate this. This is dumb and it's ruining the game. Everybody kind of went, oh, this is cool. Nice job, Wizards.
Yeah, we're talking about challenger decks.
Standard challenger decks. The deck lists were announced last week to the overwhelming result of,
Yeah, this is actually really this is pretty cool. There are some scary things about this that we're going to talk about later, but as for turning people onto a format, getting people into a game, I think this is a really good move.
This is the smartest thing I think that I've seen Wizards do in recent memory, with the goal being turn people onto the game, get new players in.
Yeah, this is a big step in the direction of no card is sacred as far as value goes.
Right. But they are allowing people to go in and with a single purchase at a good price point, $30 by the way.
Yes.
Have a deck that is just ready to go. Some people don't want to go through the rigmarole. Some people want to treat it like a collectible card game, or just like a card game, just a card game period, and not a collectible or a trading card game. So you've got these people that, especially with the board game market exploding right now, you've got people that just want to go say, I've got $30, let's go in here, I'm going to buy something, and I can immediately go up to a Friday Night Magic or over to my friend's house who plays Standard,
right,
and be competitive right then. It's like we talked about a couple of weeks ago. There are some cases where, as a 30-year-old person, I would rather go and just spend the money and not invest the time.
Yeah.
But still have the fun playing the game.
And that time that Joel is referencing, that doesn't include, going to drafts. It doesn't include, like buying packs and trying to acquire the cards, making trades. But that time actually includes, like, even if he wanted to spend the money ordering the cards from different places, getting them all together, waiting for them to arrive in the mail.
Right.
We have a deck that's put together. Yeah. It's ready to go. You crack it open. You sleeve it up. You can play it. It's competitive. This shows that Wizards has their finger on the pulse of the meta. They've seen what works, and they're ready to, cater to that.
Right. And honestly, cool. Look at it from this perspective.
Yeah.
Hey, Jake, look. For your birthday, I got you this Standard Showdown deck.
Wait, I don't play Magic. I don't want to put in the time to do the trades.
Right, but right now, all you have to do is sleeve that up, which, look, I got you these sweet Eclipse brand sleeves. This is not an ad.
By Ultra Pro?
By Ultra Pro. You can sleeve it up right now, and we can play, and you will be competitive and not feel pushed down by the burden of having less
deck is competitive cards. Right out of the box.
But see, Wizards with their Standard Challenger decks has made it so.
Wait, you mean that by me playing this deck, it already has, like... Normally, they only put one or two of the cards I need in here of, like, a certain set.
But see, what these decks do is give you one or two of each of the cards.
Joel, I know about Heart of Kiran, and I know that they probably only put one Heart of Kiran in here. I don't have the time to get 3 other Heart of Kiran.
But see, in that deck, they put in 4 Heart of Kiran.
They put in 4 Heart of Kiran?!
So that roleplay is to show you just one possible positive outcome of getting a new person into this game with these Standard Challenger decks.
Yeah, it's a really good move. I think this is something, this does show us, guys, like, from an MTG finance perspective, if you're into that, just know no standard card moving forward is sacred.
Right.
If you think, oh yeah, if I just, like, hold my Chandra Torch of Defiance, it's going to go up because it's played in Modern and stuff, like, that Chandra Torch of Defiance, it may end up in a dual deck. It may end up in this Challenger deck, which one has... obviously, they didn't put in 4 Chandra Torch of Defiance, because Wizards does have the foresight to know if they had put 4 Chandra Torch of Defiance, if they had put 4 Hazoret in the deck, none of those decks would make it into the hands of the public.
Because stores would crack them and sell them.
Yeah.
But look, another point to this, guys, is that they are going to ensure that these decks maintain their MSRP, because they're printing them to be sold at Target.
and
to be
Walmart.
sold at Walmart.
And not every local game store is like this, but this strategy does thwart the local game store that is kind of like the shady game store that's like, oh yeah, we only got 2 of those each.
Right.
And then for some reason you go back to that game store later and you're like, how do you have 100 of the Chandra Torch of Defiance that came out of the Challenger deck? So
it does mean that there are implications for standard finance. Probably with standard finance, I mean, at 6 months until rotation, you should have been out of the game anyway. You should have already sold, probably.
Any of those cards that you think we're going to like...
Right. It does look like, if they maintain the schedule, that these cards will release about 6 months before they would rotate. Right. Now, this is in hopes to get, people that either don't play the game like we role-played, or people that are like, I play Cube or EDH or Modern. I don't play Standard because I don't want to keep up with the cards. I don't want to keep up with how much it costs.
Yeah.
If they can go spend $30 and have a deck that they, kind of infuse with a couple of cards they've pulled along the way in the pre-release or in a couple drafts or whatever they've done, and go play Standard for the last 6 months and get those Friday Night Magic promos, which are actual promos again and not tokens, then why not go do that? But what that means is that standard finance, towards the end, make sure you get out before these challenger deck lists are even announced in the future.
If you do not
standard finance might be entering a place where it's just not
it's a
viable.
stock.
It's not
it's
super viable past pre-releases. It's look at what the specs should be before the boxes of that set ship. Once you have full spoiler, and once you look at what all the pre-release bombs are, Carnage Tyrant at $50 before Ixalan came out. But nobody was really buying a ton of Kite Sail freebooters.
No,
and so that probably would have been a cheap card to pick up at a maximum and then sell on the back end, because that card's in a ton of stuff in now modern decks.
If you don't think the card is going to have any kind of splash in modern, or obviously legacy, then yeah, sell it like, if you're not playing it, if you just have, like me, a 4 set of disallows that are just sitting in a binder,
right?
Sell them now while they're $8 a piece, because you don't need that many disallows. I'm talking about foil disallow at $8. The regular one's like $4. Just sell them because you can buy them later if you really need them.
Overall, with the standard challenger decks, definitely you get 2 thumbs up out of Jake and Joel are Magic. We just want them to, keep the finance players in mind. We know that that's representing only 20 or 30% of the overall fan base, but keep it in mind. And, ride the line as well as you did with these. These are fantastic. This is a great product and one of my favorite things that Wizards has done in a long, long time.
Yes. All of that being said, we're entering into our attack step here, and we just talked about a lot of the great stuff that comes with the standard challenger decks.
Yes.
But we are going to talk about, in our attack step here, the future implications of this if Wizards were to take it to other formats other than standard. And the format we're going to talk about today, obviously, since Legacy is filled with reserved list cards, is modern format. Say Wizards decides, you know what, those standard challenger decks were great.
Yeah.
What if we just print a modern affinity deck?
Now, immediately you might be going, Jake and Joel, that's crazy. They would never print these for modern. But they have started to see, wow, our best numbers being viewed on Twitch was the Modern Pro Tour. Right after that, we had back-to-back-to-back modern GPs that also had some of our highest numbers of GP viewers in the last couple years.
Like modern, you go, okay, so say it's Tron. We'll look at Tron, which is a relatively affordable modern deck.
Fairly.
So say Wizards decides, what if we make a Tron challenger deck, modern challenger deck? It comes with all the Urza lands that you need. It comes with 1 Karn.
I was going to say 1 Karn.
Instead of 4.
Right.
It comes with 1 Ugin.
Right.
It comes with 2 Wormcoil Engine. It gives you all the little necessities you need.
Yeah.
4 Expedition Map. It gives you 4 Ancient Stirrings.
Right.
It gives you all those little cheap cards, all the 4-ofs that you need, but then those big money cards, they go, you know what? Yeah, you get 1 of those each.
Mm-hmm.
They sell the deck for
$49.99.
$49.99.
Yeah, $59.99. Maybe one of those. I mean, $59.99 is the price of a video game.
Yeah.
Price of a new AAA video game. So you sell it for $60. You call it Modern Challenger deck. You sell it at Target. You sell it at Walmart.
Yep.
And it absolutely destroys the price of these Modern cards.
Yeah. Because you look at any Modern deck, and you know, there's a lot of variants, but I would say the median, if you have 0 cards to put toward a Modern deck,
right,
I would say the median price point conservatively start to finish $500 to $600.
$500 to $600 easy.
Yeah.
So we kind of represent two different viewpoints on this.
I think
Jake is much more financially minded. I'm much more, in this instance, minded of like it's your most popular format, blow it up, get people playing.
There's no way, having printed these standard Challenger decks, that Wizards isn't thinking about this.
They definitely have thought about it. Now, whether or not they're going to do it stands to be seen. There are positives and negatives to this. I mean, some people have spent $1,000 getting their Modern deck together. Some people have spent 3 or 4 times that getting their Modern deck together and getting it foiled out. So there would be people that would be absolutely, they would just think this is blasphemy unless they MSRP'd it for the right price, or they promised that it was going to be a low print run or something. Because I mean, at least with these standard Challenger decks, I know, I'm sorry, I'm just going here.
No, it's fine.
But at least with these standard decks, there is a shelf life to them. You can't print these in November and them still be relevant. But if you printed, Modern Eldrazi Tron Modern Challenger deck, you could sell that for 5 years.
Well, because now they did the Modern event deck.
Right.
They did that deck. I believe it was a black-white deck. It had sort of Feast and Famine. It had an Elspeth. It had some good cards in it.
So they've thought about they've thought about
Four
ways
Inquisition
to do
of
this.
Kozilek.
Yeah.
So this is something that's definitely on their radar. But the modern archetypes, you'll see a new one pop up every year, or
right.
But if you go in there and you dissect Modern, you can go in and be like, well, there's a cool red-white burn deck. There's green Tron. There's green black Tron.
Yeah.
There's Merfolk. There's Death Shadow. There's
an
endless amount of different decks.
Like Tarmogoyf Jund decks running around.
But imagine, just for a moment, that they did a Modern Challenger deck that was Jund, and it came with
2 Tarmogoyfs.
2 Tarmogoyf, 1 Liliana of the Veil.
That would be crazy.
And that's the thing that modern
MSRP
players
for $60, $70, $80.
Yeah, but the thing is the local game store is going to see this and they're going to want to crack it open. You're going to see a lot of them that do.
Right.
But the saving grace here is that now Wizards has decided to go to mass distributors like Walmart and Target, where obviously people would seek these out and buy them in droves.
It's crazy. A couple months ago, everybody was going, really, Wizards? You're going to start selling your product at Target? You're going to start selling your product at Walmart? What the hell? Why do you hate everybody?
But this prevents the local game store from gouging the everyday man.
With product like this, it now makes sense. And it shows that there was foresight, to me at least, on Wizards' part, of saying, okay, well, if we're going to print constructed decks with good cards, with desirable cards in them, what are we going to do to keep the LGS that really doesn't care from just cracking it and
selling individual
cards? Let's sell it at Target. Target's never gonna do that. Yeah. They're never gonna raise MSRP of a product. They don't care. They got other things to worry about, like how to stop people from walking out with the $5 DVDs from the bin at the front.
Yeah.
They're not gonna raise the MSRP on a product.
Yeah. It's interesting because normally Wizards would come out with an event deck for a format and it would be one deck. Mm-hmm. But the fact that Wizards came out with, 4 or 5 of these?
4, I believe.
So the fact that Wizards came out with 4 Challenger decks means that if they did go to Modern, your deck may not be safe.
Let us know in the comments.
What do you think of this?
Yeah, I want to know if...
Are you worried about it?
Yeah, I want to know if you would like if they printed Modern Challenger decks, if you would dislike it if they printed Modern Challenger decks. I'm really curious to see what people think about this, because it was honestly mine and Jake's first reaction. First, we talked about, wow, this is so cool. This is really great. Oh my God, what if they do this for Modern? Oh my God, what's to stop them from doing this for Modern? Charging, 3 times the price of these at $30, charge them 90, a little under, maybe 80. Definitely something to look out for. Let us know below what you think about it. As we move into our main phase 2, guys, we shoot just a little peeking behind the curtain. We shoot our weekly episodes either Tuesday or Wednesday so that yours truly has enough time in post to get them ready to show you by Friday.
Thank God Joel does the editing because I have no idea how to do it.
What that means is that this week we're shooting on Tuesday evening. We are through 2 days of M25 spoilers. I think we would be remiss not to cover it at all because by the time our video posts, the entire set will have been spoiled.
Yes.
But we're not going to cover it at a ton of length because we are going to have a full M25 reaction video
next week.
Next week. That's all we're going to be covering. We're going to grade ourselves from our prediction episode. I'm going to drop a card right there. Go check out that episode if you haven't checked it out yet because it shows off, 30 cards. 30 cards that we think are going to be in this set.
Yep.
We've already been proven wrong on some counts because we have pretty much seen all the colors of some of these mythics that have dropped. We just wanted to cover what we've seen so far, and then we'll get into it in depth next week.
Yes. So one of the most important things that we need to talk about, and it's something that you emphasized, is that a lot of the times in a good Masters set, the value is not from the mythics, it is from the rares and the uncommons.
Because you're going to see much more of the rares and uncommons and much fewer of the mythics.
Yes. Now that being said, I do believe these mythics so far that we have seen, with the exception of Jace, are pretty lackluster.
So far, the mythics spoiled have been kind of womp womp. With the exception of like one, most of the mythics so far have been, an argument can be made for them being iconic of the 25th year history of the game.
Sure.
But you can't make a huge argument for them contributing to a $10 to $12 price point on the set being sold.
Yeah, Iconic Masters comes to mind. And Iconic Masters is a set with a $240 MSRP, $10 a pack, that you can buy fresh, sealed boxes on eBay for $135 shipped. So
it's because the value wasn't there.
It's just the value isn't there.
Yeah.
And this is one of the reasons why everyone right now is going, Jake and Joel, we just got Imperial Recruiter. We just got Rashidun Port.
Right.
The thing about this and what's important...
Chalice. Bridge.
The thing about Imperial Recruiter is, like Mana Drain, this is a card that was expensive because of scarcity.
Right.
This isn't a card that you need 4 of. It's played in Legacy, and those people do want 4 of it, or they want more than 1. But most of the people that want this card, they want it for an EDH setting. And these are not the kind of cards that are going to sell packs. As much as, like when you look at Modern Masters 2017, you look at Liliana the Veil, Snapcaster Mage, all of the fetch lands. These are cards that you need multiple copies of, if not 4 of.
Right.
So when
Tarmogoyf 4 of. Snapcaster Mage 4 of. Liliana 4 of.
Yeah.
Fetch lands
4 of.
Right.
Blood Moon at least 3.
Yeah, at least 3.
So
and Blood Moon hadn't been reprinted in a long time at that point.
Right. Yeah. So when we're looking at Akroma and Prosh and Doomsday, Armageddon, Gisela as our mythics, these are cards that are just like
they're cool cards. I will say
they are. Cool cards. Like I know this guy right here wants a foil Prosh for his EDH deck.
Absolutely, I do. Of course I do. And so the prospect of that cool sounds awesome. And I know. Okay, and look, this is something that everybody keeps talking about. The foils of these cards are going to be sick looking because of the watermark on the bottom. Right. So, I mean, just look. I'll throw it up right here. Just look at the Blood Moon that got spoiled. Blood Moon
from the dark
with the moon symbol set as the foil watermark.
It's sick.
The card is going to look so choice.
And they changed the flavor text on a lot of these cards, which is very cool as well.
And some of the art is the old art. Another card I'm super excited about that's been dropped is old art Vindicate. Dude, that's so like, I started playing during Apocalypse, man. That's near and dear to my heart. That card looks so cool to me.
That was back when Destroy Target Permanent was a big thing.
Was huge, man. It was huge.
Yeah. Now, when we look at the good Mythics, we just talked about the bad Mythics. But when we look at the good Mythics, we have Jason Mind Sculptor, which maybe he was unbanned as a way to push sales for this. We don't know.
We'll see by Thursday and Friday when the big stuff drops.
But when we look at a card like Chalice coming in at Mythic, and I know you and I talked about this earlier together, but when you look at a card like Chalice coming in at Mythic, this does show us that Wizards, although they would deny it into the ground, they do have the finger on the pulse of the secondary market.
At least a little.
Because they look at, oh, guys, Chalice. Chalice is a $90 non-foil. This is totally Mythic rarity.
Yeah.
But Chalice is a very specific sideboard card in a lot of instances, and it's a card that not only hoses your opponent, but hoses you. Now you could be like, but Jake, Chalice is really good. Yes. In matchups like Boggles in Modern, or matchups like Death Shadow, where you can play Chalice on one and pretty much shut down a deck.
Right.
That's great. But there's a lot of times where Chalice is just, it's a good sideboard card.
Yeah.
And I think in a limited setting, this is a card that should absolutely be printed at rare. But Jake, I don't want to play against Chalice. Guys, there's probably going to be one per box, even if they print it at rare instead of Mythic. So you might deal with one player who's playing Chalice. And guys, let's be honest. Chalice, in a limited setting, you have a grip full of cards that are all different converted mana cost. It's not like when you're playing against a Death Shadow player or a Boggles player or someone where it's like, well, I know they have all one cost spells. Like, I feel the same way about the Snaring Bridge coming in as a Mythic as well. I think this is a wasted Mythic slot on a card that, sure, it needed a reprint. But, again, Ensnaring Bridge is for very specific archetypes. It not only hoses your opponent, but it hoses you. So unless you're playing a deck that is like Burn or like Discard, or it just depends on, you don't care if you have creatures to attack and it's good for you. It's just a card where it's like, well, I pulled a bridge in draft and yes, it's great. But honestly, I need to be able to turn dudes sideways, so I'm really not going to have much use for it.
And that's really our biggest point as our early reactions to the set 2 days in, again, go. Is that so far the placement of what's a rare, what's a mythic, what's getting upshifted in rarity, what's getting downshifted seems strange. We'll have a better sense of the entire set by the time the whole thing drops on Friday. And, we'll definitely be giving our full impressions and what we think the fallout's going to be in our big M25 episode.
If you have 2 black on the field, this is crazy to think about. But if you have 2 black on the field and Dark Ritual is common, you can cast Phyrexian Obliterator on turn 2.
Yeah.
So there is some crazy shenanigans.
It'll be sweet.
To be had
It'll be
here.
super sweet. It's just weird that, Chalice got upshifted and Snaring Bridge got upshifted. It's interesting. Conflux
Imperial
is one of the
Recruiter
rares.
is scarce. Vendilion Click has really been on the outskirts.
Was anybody really calling for a Conflux reprint? Sorry, I know you were trying to make a point.
No.
It's like, and I know, you've got to balance the whole representation of 25 years, and they're picking one card from each set kind of thing, and Conflux, the name of the set is on the card, and, and it's representative of the story and the title of the set all in the one card, and that's cool, but I don't know that anybody was like, man, I can't find Conflux anywhere right now. As we enter the end step, guys, all of you now, we haven't, but all of you now have seen everything that is dropped for M25. So tweet us how stupid you think we are and how wrong you think our opinions are. We'd love to hear them. Also, this weekend is the MTGO Championship.
Oh, sweet. I didn't even know about this.
Yep, Magic Online Championship will be this weekend. So lots of heavy hitters in that tournament. So we'll see how that ends up. Other than that, look out for our M25 full rundown next week.
And I'm tapped out.
Hey, I'm constantly searching for meaning. I changed it.
I know how that feels.
That's supposed to be you.
But I empathize with it.
Peace.